Azzah, this is quite an event for me, really. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I'm very excited. And I thought it might be best if we just start with wisdom and what it means, and specifically, what is unique about women's wisdom?
Intuition. Mm-hmm. I think one of the most toxic things that the patriarchal world has done to women is not allowed them to respect their own intuition. You know, poo-pooed it. No, that's crazy. No, that's like the worst thing that you can do. You know, because that's like an invisible telephone line between you and spirit, or you and yourself, or you and the universe. It's a place in yourself that I know. And to be castrated from I know, to be castrated from that, then what? You're learning only this way, never this way. And I think that's one of the worst things, to be castrated from your own intuition, from your own I know.
You're second guessing yourself all the time and doubting yourself.
Yeah, then it's like your intuition's you know, and your mind's going, oh no, but maybe I should have known that. Crazy, make you go crazy.
Yeah. So how does one develop wisdom? How is that acquired?
Through your own sense inside, you know, from your intuition, from your sensing, perceiving. You know, it's not by a mind of anything. The mind is the last function. First of all, you get a feeling, you get a sense, you know, you get like an intuitive hit of something, an experience, right? You're really stupid at it. No, I'm not. You know, and then the process of looking at what's coming at you in life, and your I know, looking at that, you know, and getting the wisdom out of the experience. You know, that's how that process is creating wisdom. Looking at that experience and finding what it is, what's that? You know, questioning and looking. What's my soul's highest learning in this experience? Processing it. That's wisdom.
And that's something that you need to work on too. It might work at one point, but then of course you have to keep on going back to that spot where it worked and reminding yourself how it worked and continue to develop it as time goes on.
Well, how it works is trusting yourself. That's it, just trusting yourself. You know, and there's a different, you can feel it, no, I think this shouldn't be like this, that's a dense vibration, it's the mind, you know, which is very, very important. But when you start questioning and looking and throwing it backward and forward, that's the mind working. But I know is a totally different feeling and sound and colour and taste. You can taste it in your energy, you know. And when you listen to that and then try and find what that's teaching you, you know. Otherwise, you know, you could be a real paranoid person, and then everything comes back to, you know, oh no, but you can't because you see, you know, and everything comes back to the mind belief, which is paranoia. You know, no, that's not wisdom, that's paranoia, and that's listening to the mind, you know, compared to your own intuitive sense. And your own intuitive sense doesn't have any feeling. It's not about feelings. No, it's just a stillness. It's I know. It's a clarity.
That's a good word. I think that really describes it. So, who was the first wise woman in your life?
Oh, one of the, my mother, oh my God, my mother, amazing woman that just trusted life, was, she just trusted life. She trusted life. She's was in the Second World War as child and tortured and raped and suffered and had pieces of her body ripped out, and like, you can't imagine the horrors of war for a child. And she was not racist, she was not prejudiced, she said, what colours your soul when you die? You know, what state, what condition, what vibration is your soul when you die? Always remember one day you will die, you know, and you will face your own soul, you know. I mean, are we here for nothing? No, no way. No, are we here to accumulate more and more and more and be better than you and you and you and you? No, that's not what we're here for. This is evolution, you know. We are the creatures on earth that can observe ourselves, that have self-observation. All nature has love. We have self-observation of ourselves. So, you know, that's our journey, evolution, yeah. And yeah.
There must have been a whole aspect or different aspects of that Russian culture that influenced your development as a child, as a woman growing up.
Oh yeah, yeah, the Russian woman, you know, just powerful. I mean, look at the history of all the wars and conquerings and all of this, and it's women and children that suffer, right? So yeah, so but also I think in every country there's been that. Look at the burning of the witches. 9 million women at that time burnt at the stake. Oh my God!
There's a basic fear
of your own wisdom, yeah, of the feminine and your own wisdom, because those women were wisdom keepers. Mm-hmm. They were the naturopaths and the healers, birthers, and you know, and they were the women, the wisdom keepers. Female wisdom, different to male. Male, yes, and very important. Women is different. We need both. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the killing of the witches. I mean, that was a Holocaust where women became scared of themselves, you know, and so then I have to look outside to see how I should be, you know, because that's a cellular memory. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there was also another woman, I've got to tell you about her. Her name was Azzah, and she was a Shanti tribe in Ghana. And she was a shaman woman, powerful shaman woman, when Africa was colonized, you know, by white people. She came out of the jungle, you know, she used to wear black leopard skin. She came out of the jungle, stood in the park square, stood on the beach and started speaking. And the power and clarity and truth and magic that came out of that woman's mouth started a revolution. People stopped working for white people, and then it spread to Benin and Togo and Nigeria, and boom, it went. Yeah, so she's the cog that started the wheel, but you don't hear about her, you'll hear about another man, but it was Azzah. She was the cog that started the wheel turning to liberate Africa, except of course South Africa. Amazing, right? Mm-hmm. She's another one.
Well, thank you for reminding us of that, because I had never heard of her before. Yeah,
and another one, Kulthum. Kulthum. She was beyond social rule. Kulthum.
Was she African?
No, Persian. So she would do one concert. She was a singer. She would do one concert every 3 months and sing one song at the concert. Can you imagine that? She had like percussions, you know, guys kept changing, but she'd be up there for 16 hours singing one song. Oh, you know, amazing. And she had this handkerchief and she'd be, you know, and sweating, but she would, and it was all ad lib. People used to come there with blankets and food and drink and everything because they're going to be there for 16 hours. People would pass out, go into frenzies and pass out. She would sing about love, you know, passion, pain, hate, murder, rain, snow, beauty, God, the devil, everything. She would just sing. She was a prophet, you know. She was like, she was a prophet. Amazing, amazing, powerful woman. And she had like 5 lovers at a time. She died, I think she was 90 or close to 90. And she had, you know, these 5 lovers, and they were always under the age of 30. And, you know, because she was above the social rule, you know, the patriarchal norm, otherwise she'd be stoned to death, in the Persian culture, in the Middle East, there's the culture when somebody's on that level, she used to get the sperm of the young men that gave her force in exchange for wisdom. I mean, young men were dying to be with her because they would get the wisdom of this woman in exchange for sperm that they had a lot of. You know?
Oh, quite an arrangement, quite an arrangement. So we talked about 2 different cultures within, 3 inspiring women. The Russian, the African, the Persian.
And the Western women, you know, the burning of the witches. Oh my God.
Yeah. But also, what about women in Australia, where you've spent a lot of time, or Aborigines in general, which I know you had some contact with?
Oh yeah, Australian Aborigines. I grew up in Australia in the bush, and I grew up with Aboriginal people. And I can't tell you how amazing those people are. I can't tell you, they are, oh my God. You know, there's this man, his name's Dennis Banks. He's a Sioux Indian, and he's a real political voice in the US. He does peace runs around the world. He went through Australia on a peace run. And when he met Australian Aborigines up in Arnhem Land, he's like, you know, our elder, our elder. The Australian Aborigines are just amazing, amazing, amazing human beings. You know, they have an incredible, they remember the star they came from. They have story walking with dinosaurs. You know, their school is dream time and storytelling, corroborees, you know. You know, they're ancient people, they remember the star they came from.
So how do you think that happened, that they were able to retain that?
Secret. But you know, even if you say that to an industrial person that values materialism, as if they're going to understand that, you know, it's a fairy tale. It means nothing.
Well, how lucky you were to have grown up in their company.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think
that was a blessing. Yeah. Australian Aborigines are a blessing to me.
Yeah, you received insights from them that were beyond anything else that came to you from other cultures or from the culture you were living in. Aside from that, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing people.
Okay, so far you have completed almost 40 interviews, or more than 40 interviews, primarily with women, but with men as well. And I wonder what kind of insights you received overall.
Okay, I'll tell you. The number one insight that I have received interviewing women for Women's Wisdom. Do you mind if I interview you for my Women's Wisdom series? What wisdom? What? Every single woman, every woman. What wisdom? And that's the problem. That's the problem.
They don't even recognize it in
themselves. They don't know what women's wisdom is. They haven't thought about it, they don't have any value for it or something. Every single woman said that to me. What wisdom?
And then you convinced them, and they did it.
And then once they see it on video, they start realizing what it is that they have, you know. And if you realize what you have, you can respect that and grow it, you know. You can grow it instead of putting it over there or not seeing it and letting it atrophy. It's called entropy.
And acknowledging it in each other, which is what you are doing with these interviews. You're helping other women to begin to see it in themselves.
Exactly. You know, you can sense when somebody's just bullshitting you, you know. Oh, you're so nice and so, oh, you're so wise. You can sense when someone's bullshitting you, and you can sense when they mean it. If they mean it, take it. You know, if you don't know what they're talking about, take it and look at it and find it in yourself and grow it. Absolutely.
So give us an idea of the scope of women that you were dealing with. Were they mostly artists? Were they people, spiritual teachers?
Ordinary women. So-called ordinary. No, you know, everyone has their special. See that? Every human being that ever was and ever will be, that little part there is different. That's not ordinary, you know. Every human being, yeah.
It's a good example.
Women that thought they had nothing, you know, just, you know, what? Oh, I'm just plodding along. No. Women's wisdom, It's very important for women's wisdom to be out on the planet. It really is. You're not doing anyone a service by going, oh no, I don't. No, you're not doing planet Earth. Your ancestors, your future. You know, you're not doing anyone any service by acting small.
No, that's true. So before you came to Mexico, for 30 years, you worked on 5 continents in 16 countries doing transformational workshops. Now, give us some insight into what that period of your life was like and what your goals were like and what you learned and what you taught in that.
The most important thing that the workshops always ended up focused on was get rid of your past. Get rid of it. Look at all the things that's not you and get rid of them. Whatever way you get rid of them. Meditate, write them out, bash them and kill them, you know. I've got a belief that I'm stupid. You know what? Draw it, write it out, kill it, burn it. You know, let it transform. Don't put your energy into doing contortions with yourself, trying to hide that you think you're stupid. If you've got a brain, you're not stupid. You know? You're just not stupid. That's all. So that was the main thing, was getting rid of all of the things that you're not. Look at, you know, well, how do I know who I really am? Well, get rid of everything that you're not, and there you are.
It sounds simple, but it's not, of course.
It's a process. You can either do the process or not. So imagine yourself on your deathbed and you did do the process, and you allowed yourself to not be a problem to yourself anymore. Imagine that. And imagine if you don't.
But imagine if you do it earlier in your life and you have a chance to live a good part of your life with that realization.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I've had people of all ages, but I don't think it's you know, some people at the end of their lives finally are free from being a problem to themselves, you know, fear, paranoia, worry, anger, you know, all of these contortions that are coming from some belief back there, you know, that haven't been investigated. Even towards the end of their life, they're just, you know, happy that that they did do that, you know.
Yeah.
Got rid of all of the things that you're not. That's all. It's simple. It really is simple.
Well, you've worked on 5 different continents with amazing amount of different cultures. Did you see any differences in those cultures and how they dealt with this?
Absolutely. In the industrial world, where people are very educated, first of all, it's, you know, what's your degree? Where do you come from? What do you have? How many years? When are we going to have lunch? When are are you a vegetarian? All these questions and questions and questions that the mind, you know, there's the mind, for the mind to so slowly get out of the way, where a human being can appear, you know. That's in the industrial world. The mind really is really strong, and in the way, where in not industrial countries, people go boom to the bottom of the ocean in a second. They just trust you. They trust their own sense, right? And as soon as they sense you and they trust you, they will do absolutely everything, you know. And so they go to the bottom of themselves, you know, and hit their own soul practically immediately. So to come out of major traumas, you know, like being raped or you know, really horrific things, they can push their soul out of that pain quickly, you know, because they trust, they have faith, you know, and faith is an amazing energy. It's an amazing energy. Faith can pull you out of anything. Absolutely.
Do you say that's true in Mexico? That people will respond more quickly? Find their core?
Because their ancestors are just around the corner, you know. The indigenous ancestors that lived with the wisdom of planet Earth are just around the corner. They're not hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Yes, so they can connect very, very quickly. That line is still there.
How do you see your place in the world right now? I mean, and when I speak of the world is your world because you've been there. You've been all over, you've worked, you've lived, you've probed the depths of the culture that's there. So how do you see your place in the midst of all of this?
A bridge. Linking. I'm really good at linking, you know, linking people, not ranking, linking. You know, I think that's very, very important on our planet now, to link people together, you know, because we will exterminate ourselves if we don't, you know. Our rush for destruction is so fierce. It's so fierce, you know, to cut down the trees and take the oil and rape the land and kill those people and take their stuff and, you know, make third world countries our slaves and produce so I can buy more and more and more and more and more. Extinction, you know, it's insanity.
Greed.
Greed, you know, we can live a win-win situation, we can, but the way we're going, everybody knows. I don't have to tell anyone. Everybody knows the oceans are dying, the air's being polluted, the earth, the Monsanto, you know, all of that, everything's being poisoned. Tell me one, you know, I don't think there's one person that doesn't know somebody who's dying or died of cancer. That's proof, you know. In the US, 80% of the world's pain pills that are produced are consumed by the US. That's a hell of a lot of pain. What's that about? About antidepressants, give them to the children. You know, what's that about? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's a horror.
So how do you see our future? I mean, other than if what you're just describing now continues until ultimate extinction, do you see any hope for humanity? Do you see any hope for our future?
Wake up. Women's wisdom. Women need to wake up. You know, there's a saying that men came to this earth to learn to open their heart chakra. Their throat is open and their heart's closed. And they have to learn to open their heart and feel life, you know. And women have come to this earth to learn to open their throat because their heart's already open. Their throat's closed. Men's throat's open, their heart's closed. We all have something to learn. We have to balance ourselves. Men have to balance themselves and women have to balance themselves. You know, women hide their truth. If they know it, they still flavor it and hide it and contort and conform, you know, to the patriarchal system of reality.
So,
it's killing us.
Women really need to wake up and to
yeah.
acknowledge this in themselves and encourage it in each other. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful proverb to sort of keep in our minds for all of us to learn from. Well, Azzah, you are certainly a gifted woman of many talents. You are a dancer. You are a writer. You have an amazing voice. If I didn't think you would shatter the windows in this room, I might invite you to sing something. And you are a powerful communicator on every single level. But you're also a poet, and you have written your autobiography in the form of poems. I don't know if you brought any of them with you to read one. Oh, that's too bad. But we can maybe get to one later on some other time. But that book of your autobiography, that book of poems, am I right in that it's dedicated to the devil?
Yeah. I dedicate my book to the devil. Yes.
Now that needs a little bit of an explanation. Tell us about that.
Well,
I hope you don't mind my feeling that it's right in the book, right?
Yeah, it's right in
Okay.
the book. Because the devil is, you know, in hell. In darkness, you know, the devil is the energy that reflects darkness so that I could find the light, you know. How could I find my own light if there was no darkness that to you know, and going through the darkness is what fed my life force, you know. It's the food for your life force. Trying to find yourself, looking at what is not you, looking at your illusions and your negative beliefs that make you small and all of that. That is the substance that feeds your strength, your willpower. Jesus and all the other prophets, your will be done. Yes. Just make a commitment and say yes to life, you know, and boom, you go through it. And the devil was my teacher because the devil was reflecting darkness so that I could find the light. Plus poking me all the time, you know. Yeah, also that.
And so you probably made some mistakes along the way.
Oh, no, I don't think there's mistakes that I haven't made. I don't think that they exist. How can you transform, you know, a situation if you mistakes are food. They're food. You know, use them as food. Stop getting stuck and bashing yourself up and hiding or getting aggressive or defending madness, you know. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. It's food. Use it as food. It's a force to help you wake up. That's all. To find yourself. So the devil, I got my doctorate, by the way, in hell, and the devil being my teacher. I mean, my choice was to wake up. I could have chosen to just ignore it and go into some pathology, No, I'm not giving my life to that, to an illusion.
That is a powerful message to anybody who feels they're in a very dark space right now. That there is the light on the other side, and the darkness will lead you to it.
Yeah,
if you face it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah, and if you're in a lot of pain, scream and cry. Scream and cry. Get a pillow so you won't disturb people or whatever, or go out into the countryside. Scream and cry. Because pain is like an infection, you know, it's the pus. Get the pus, emotional pus, out of your body. And the more you get it out of your body, you know, focused on the root cause, not a tantrum, not to be used and manipulated. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the root cause. I'm getting this pain out of my body.
So many of us are caught up in tremendous turmoil in our lives and can't find a way out. But you've given us some good suggestions right from the beginning of this interview.
Yeah, because once you get rid of imagine pain, the density. Boy, they take all of that density out, that infection out, and then, you've got clarity. You've got a totally different vibe, and you will find your way in that clarity. You won't be in reaction, you'll be in action, different.
And that's what we need people to be doing if we're going to have a future for the human race. Oh, that was great.